Welcome back to the All About the Data podcast. Everyone, you already know it's your boy Data J, and we got Quant King J in the building. Last episode, we was missing Quant King J, and we had Shanice. Now we missing Shanice, and we got Quant King J. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what we doing right now. We turning up out.
It's terrible. It's
Jesus
terrible.
Christ is going down.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we got another special guest in the building for y'all, Sequoah.
Hi. Oh, I am so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Boy, I like those moves. We about to play some music for you. Play some salsa or something.
So Sequoah is a self-taught data whiz that specializes in business intelligence, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. She loves everything data because it's all about the data, baby. And she started her career being a general IT support specialist to now being a data engineer level 2.
Ooh,
Girl, let us know about yourself. Introduce yourself. Let the people know what you want them to know.
Alrighty. So hi everyone. My name is Sequoah Lloyd. I'm 27 years old. I am so excited to be here. I just want you guys to know who I am. I am a self-taught engineer. I pretty much learned everything that I know from like YouTube and Coursera, and those platforms really taught me and helped me become the engineer that I am today. So I'm pretty excited to have this conversation with everyone. It's like I am all about the questions. Anything about data, let's get to it.
Yes, all about the data, baby. That's what we go by.
That's why I love you, because you're like me. I didn't get a degree like you, but all I do is just do straight courses online, Udemy, Coursera, CBT.
Don't worry, the degree is loading.
I'm still in school. A lot of people are like, oh, did you get your bachelor's? I'm like, I'm actually still getting my bachelor's. I don't graduate until fall of 2022 this year. So a lot of the stuff that I've learned, I've utilized on Coursera. I got my first healthcare job when I was actually earning my associate's degree. So yeah.
Okay then. See,
my associates loading, Quant King J associates loading, so we all
J-Mar, I'm not getting no daggone associate's degree out of here. I dropped out when I was 19 years old. I was 27 years old. I am not going back.
I'll be getting my associates, so I'll be keeping y'all posted. Even if it take me 4 years to get it, I'm gonna get it. I'm getting it for me.
See?
So, but we're gonna hop right into it because I know the people are ready to hear this juice about data, because that's why they tune in. They want to get data. And I'm glad you're a data engineer, because we've been mainly getting like business intelligence engineers and data analysts. So we're going to jump right into it. So you started coding at 14?
14 years old.
Like what? Like at the age of 14, was it MySpace? Like what made you want to code?
Yeah, MySpace was definitely one of the biggest influences for me. That at a point, I didn't know what path I wanted to do in IT. And I started off like doing web development, trying to teach myself how to code and develop websites, learn search engine optimization, all that stuff. So that's when I pretty much learned like the web development and web design side. But then I was like, you know what? I like it, but I want to do something else. So I was just like dibbling, dabbling and trying to figure out, what I wanted to do. And when I went to ATC, that's when I pretty much learned about data, like Microsoft Access. I know I specify on LinkedIn all the time, SQL. I first learned about relational database management systems using Microsoft Access in that course. And when I loved that course at my with my instructor, she told me, she's like, Sequoah, you should definitely go the database administration route because you got the certification and Microsoft Access. But then as time go on, I was like, okay, I know how to create tables and performance tuning, all that stuff. That's fun, that's cool. But what else can I do with this data? Like, I want to visually see what I can do with data. I want to tell the story. It's like, you know what? Let's focus on this. This is the positives, these are the negatives. And that's when I looked into, like, I went to YouTube and then I figure out what business intelligence was and different business intelligence tools and what was the requirements. I taught myself SQL, Python, R. So a lot of those things that you always talk about, those are very, very essential tools, I would say, for being a data engineer and a data scientist. But if you're a data analyst with those tools, you can become a senior level.
Yeah, you kicking doors down. So would you say that your coding background helped you with SQL like a little better? Because I ain't gonna lie, SQL is like a monster. Like, yeah.
But here's the thing, I always ask everyone, when it comes to SQL, remember, it's like you're asking a question. It's a database. So if you want to figure out a question, think of it as in your head. How many people open up this ticket at this time frame? How can I code that using the fields that I have? That's how I actually code, and before I write any queries, I always think about it as a question, because a query is pretty much a question. Once you get more into SQL, you'll be a little bit more familiar with like primary keys and secondary parent keys. I feel like once you understand the data, like if you pretty much build out like an entity relationship diagram and see how the data is being formatted, you will pretty much be like, okay, I understand the data. I know the fields. I know what connects to what. Now let me actually write this query. So I feel like once you know like more the administration side, you will understand the querying side, if that makes sense.
I got you. So like, do you practice SQL outside of work hours?
Yes, I
This is a passion, my friend.
Yeah, what platforms, like what are platforms that do you use to practice SQL?
I'm a big Coursera individual, and I'm big on LinkedIn Learning. Those platforms are goated. Even if you're an expert, you never know everything. Yeah. And there's always something new that you can learn. Like they have advanced SQL for data scientists. I took that course on LinkedIn Learning. So it's a lot of great essential tools that you can utilize for you to be the best SQL individual. But once you understand the administration part and you know the difference between data manipulation language and data definition language, and knowing those constraints and knowing the functions that you need to utilize to make that query pop up make that query work, to actually utilize that in a business intelligence tool or in Excel, then you'll be like, okay, now I know I could do more than just the standard. So yeah.
Got you. We're gonna get back to the questions here in a few, but I'm a little intrigued with this. I feel like I'm in a consultation right now.
Every time with him, he always got a vendetta with SQL.
Now we gonna keep, but see the questions I have, I'm pretty sure everybody got this. So before we we gonna continue in this commercial break for a little longer. When it comes to SQL, right? Okay, so this is going to be a two-part question. One, with the LinkedIn Learning, do they actually provide projects that you can do? And two, what SQL would you recommend people learning first? Because I know there's MySQL, there's BigQuery, there's XQuery. There's probably another XQuery. I made that up, but there's so many SQL databases. So that's the two questions, and then we'll hop right back into the show.
Oh no, it's your show. You got to answer the questions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the first question, I will definitely recommend my two top, like anywhere that I work, is Oracle SQL Developer and SQL Server Management Studio. Those two database systems are universal in any enterprise level company. once you understand the procedural SQL and the transactional SQL, you will understand all SQL.
Okay.
To be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the second one? You said Oral SQL Developer and what else?
SQL Server Management Studio, which is SSMS.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oracle actually has a free SQL course for beginners. So
yes.
Yeah, I'm registered for that. So this just motivated me to hop right into that as soon as I'm done with this. All right, and then the last one was the LinkedIn courses. Do they provide actual projects you can do, or is it more just like tutorial, you sitting back, chilling, watching?
If you are a member, if you are a premium member on LinkedIn, and or if you currently at a college or university, you have access to LinkedIn Learning free. Just need to let you guys know that.
Yeah.
A lot of courses do have the projects where you could actually do the course as they actually teach it, and some of them are just strictly videos.
Okay.
So it really just depends on if they actually have those learning files available. And if anything, they usually have like third-party apps to where they'll be like, okay, you can download this and this and this and this from GitHub or something. So they're very versatile on how you can actually do project-based. To me, when I did project-based style, I usually did it on Coursera more than on LinkedIn Learning.
Got you. Okay. So the LinkedIn Learning was like just reinforcement, or?
Yes. Okay. Like if you're already comfortable with SQL, I would say you can go to LinkedIn Learning route. But when you want to actually learn step by step, Coursera is my go-to.
Very facts. Yeah. So I agree though, because even just taking the Google course and the commands they use, when I hopped over to Data Camp, I actually remembered some of the things I learned in the Coursera course. So, but yeah, we appreciate that. SQL commercial break. Shouts to SQL. For everyone tuned into the podcast, we do got SQL Saturdays every Saturday on YouTube live. So if you're in the All About the Data Discord, you already know we add it every Saturday. You can see it on this YouTube channel as the replay. So we kind of do that as a way to make it fun, to learn together. But hopping back, I know you mentioned something about SEO when you were talking about your learning journey. I'm also into marketing, just like I'm into data. I'm like, so like when I found out you could merge the two, it was like me being a kid going to Disneyland. I was like, geez, I get 2-for-1 special like we at McDonald's. God, going down. But like, what made you not just go full marketing? What made you go data instead of marketing?
That's a great question, actually. Me, I would say, I'm not going to say I get bored fast. I'm always so intrigued to learn every industry and how their market is. So I did marketing because knowing the market can actually help you creating business intelligence tools. But going the full data route, I know how to pretty much balance different industries. I can look at things from a marketing perspective. I can look at things from a business intelligence perspective. I can look at things from a data science perspective. It just gives me that more, power to be like, okay, I can look at things like this, but let's refocus and be like, okay, we can definitely see different factors on like how the data is being factored.
What's so crazy? What's so crazy about that is it could be vice versa too, because knowing data makes you like the best marketer in the world.
Yeah, it could. That's the superpower. It's like it really depends on what you're really, really good at and what makes you really happy, because it's like you don't want to just work a data job just to work a data job. You want to have to like be specialized in something. You want to know like, okay, this is my goal path, because you don't want to have a goal path that's just all over the place and you're here and you're shifting. So knowing the data, especially in the market, when it comes to like competitors, and knowing how to set those parameters in like Google Analytics, like, okay, this is my high performing product. This is what my customers come on this website for the most. I would know how to set up promotions based upon knowing how my search engine marketing and my marketing campaigns is being how measured. So that was one thing, especially when I was working at a casino, knowing our competitors' data and pretty much comparing it 2 by 2. I'm like, okay, we need to work on this because this is a little lower than our competitor, but let's look at our campaigns, let's measure our campaigns to see if it was successful, knowing our audience, knowing how to pretty much not over reinvest in a player. Those were like main important factors in the casino on the marketing side. So understanding those key metrics will make you an amazing, not only marketer, but a data professional. So I definitely agree. It is vice versa.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, definitely. That's kind of how I look at it too. Is like even the more I'm learning data, it just got me like really excited to really see how I could use it in marketing, and really see how I can how it's gonna better my craft with that. But I'm also open to exploring both sides, so that's the good thing about it too. You just like I already have knowledge in marketing. I'm learning more about the data and the data career path. So, being that you kind of experienced both, for somebody who's probably transitioning from marketing into data, like what advice would you give them?
That's a great question. So my advice is pretty much understanding the data, because you can understand the market, but if you don't understand the data and how to pretty much formulate that data into a report that can pretty much tell that story, that's where a lot of marketers go wrong. A lot of them are more business savvy than technical savvy. So having that balance will definitely pretty much help you become a better marketer.
Yeah.
Awesome. I agree with that, because I'm sitting here right now at the new job and I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, all you guys have all this data for all your financial sheets, but it's taking you guys like 3 to 4 hours just to put it in a showable form. And it's just like, dude, and I have I do love finance, and I have a personable finance background because I love finance. I budget, I do trading. So, and I used to do finance back in the day, but not like with numbers. I wasn't an accountant or anything. So for me to just come in, the healthcare organization, I'm just like, they're showing me this stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. This is that, but your Excel spreadsheets are terrible. And your charts are terrible. Like, and I just came in there and it's only been like my first week. And it's like, what the heck? All right, cool. This weekend, I'm going to redo all this stuff that you guys have, because I don't know what this is. You guys, the IT part is really important. It's definitely important, because if you don't understand that, then it's like, dude, you know the numbers or you know how to market, but you don't know how to put it all together to, like you said, tell the story.
Yeah. Telling the story is very important. You got to know what moves you're going to make.
So
how your marketing is affecting you.
So beyond all that, because you have, well, I guess we don't call it small data. We call it big. We just have big data. There's data and then there's big data. We don't call it small data or micro data. But we have metadata. But why did you choose big data over regular data out of all the data?
I like a challenge. Well, pretty much when it comes to big data, like managing over like millions of records, you can pretty much look at things on a whole different scale than just seeing just a small, maybe 10,000 row database or Excel spreadsheet. And me, I like to pretty much just get myself in it and just be like, you know what? I need to see the data for myself, because a lot of people, they make decisions, but they don't understand why this is going on. And like, okay, I don't understand why we're going down and we're trending down. I'm like, okay, let's look at this data. Let's understand the data. Let's really pretty much get a better scope. The more data I have, the more information I can utilize to give better insights. So I've worked with databases probably that store over 100 million rows. And I've worked with other companies that pretty much only had maybe 40,000 records. So it really just depends. You know, I don't have a problem working with micro or big data. It's just whatever I have, I can tell the story. You guys want me to pretty much give you the insights, I'm all for it. But if you give me useless data, that's just a lot of data and I can't do nothing with it, it's inconsistent, it's just all over the place, yeah, I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is not good data. Let's fix this problem, you know, and make sure this is solved before we even try to even put this in a business intelligence tool so we can actually look at these metrics. So I had those conversations.
Okay, cool. And spinoff, would you say that APIs help you put that together and stuff?
Yes.
Like API, I've been really trying to sit down because I know like a little bit of Python, but not enough to just look at APIs and be like, all right, cool, let's open this thing up. And I'm just like, man, I really need to get down these APIs.
Yes. So yeah, in my current position, that's what we're pretty much just like, we're always using APIs and we utilize AWS. So it's a lot of powerful tools that you can utilize.
Are you going to get the AWS cert for data?
I'm planning to. That's going to be my next certification up my sleeves.
Okay.
I wanted to get that so I can start working with big data. So that's definitely dope.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm thinking to cop that CompTIA one that they about to release.
The data
by the time this episode comes out. CompTIA has one coming out February 28th.
Hi.
Yeah,
it's called the Data Plus.
I have to look at that.
Yeah, the objectives actually seem pretty interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, I definitely might take you up on that, my boy. You know, we CompTIA buddies.
Yep, CompTIA owe me one or two.
Mm-hmm. So, being inside AWS and all that stuff, you say you cover machine learning and AI. Like, what is your end goal with that? Are you trying to save us from the robots, or or are you with the robots and are trying to destroy us all? Well, what are your end goals with machine learning and AI? Your goals.
I'm glad you asked that question because I actually wrote a Medium article about something similar to that. I'm like, yeah, the main thing everyone thinks about with AI is robot domination. I'm like, no. No. So that's no. Usually with AI, what I really love about AI is you are able, like AI, you train the algorithm. A lot of things that us humans can't see, AI could, because we're training that machine or system to actually pick up those algorithms and look at those patterns the way a human wouldn't. So it's more powerful than just a normal person. Yeah, I can pretty much do great patterns, but they will pick up things that a human eye just cannot see. And that's why in the industry, like you have the healthcare industry, have the telecommunication industry, it's so many industries, especially transportation, they're utilizing AI not to just build robots, but to also create stronger data analysis and to help those with decision making, because sometimes just doing it yourself is just not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
okay, cool. I dig it. Well said. Well said. Definitely well said.
Man,
do you think
Sequoia, you got to join the Discord, man. I don't think you in the Discord. We need some
she
more
need to do
data
SQL
engineers.
Saturdays.
We got some.
I will.
Yeah, we have some aspiring data engineers in there, and we actually have some. We actually have you ever heard of I think his name is Seattle Data Guy.
I think I did. I probably have him on my LinkedIn. If I don't know if
he's a YouTube influencer for data engineers. He's also in the Discord too.
Awesome.
Yeah, we like building like a data engineer community.
Nice. Nice. I love to see everyone come together.
Yeah, trust.
Got to. So do you think having machine learning and AI, does that make you a better data engineer versus somebody that doesn't know machine learning and AI?
I would say no, because there's different type of data engineers. So I'm going to speak on that. So a lot of engineers,
gotta add to the question now.
Yeah, they're specialized. So, you can specialize in AI, machine learning. You can specialize in DevOps. You can specialize in business intelligence. It really just depends on what makes you better, what suits the better needs. If you're better at one concentration, it doesn't make you better than the other. It's just how could what you know what to do benefit the organization. So that's right.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it probably just depends on the environment. And
yeah, it really depends on the environment.
Yeah. Kind of piggybacking off of that, have you ever were you always a data engineer, or did you go from data scientist to data engineer, data analyst? Like, what was your route?
I can definitely say that. I was actually a data analyst first.
Okay. Yeah. Did you ever take on a data scientist role?
I would say, me being a data analyst, I did specialize in more of data science when it came to like analytics and forecasting and predicting analysis. Like, I definitely took on that role just for me to learn, because I always like, you know what? Yeah, I love data, but I also want to know the science of data.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started as a data analyst at first. I gained my experience with Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, to get myself more acquainted with database systems. But a lot of companies usually don't utilize or recognize Microsoft Access as a relational database management system because it actually uses old T-SQL standards that, like, I think the ANCISI is like, so I think it's like probably in 1994 or something. So it's definitely a little outdated, but it's a great tool because that's what actually taught me a little bit more about SQL. And Microsoft Access also have a platform where you can actually, it's a tab where you can actually put SQL view. And that can pretty much teach you just like a standard. Like, you built these tables, you imported this information. Now I can put it in SQL view. Yes, it's not to the T-SQL standards, but it will give you a gist of understanding how to write a query. Just to let you guys know that. That's how I learned from Microsoft Access. And then when I saw how the queries is actually being enrolled, and I'm like, okay, let me now follow the real T-SQL standards so I can actually implement that in SSW and SSMS. So that's another cheat code. That's very good.
And all the cheat codes today. We're going to have to charge for this episode. Might have to put this one on iTunes. But yeah, I want to ask a real off the wall question real quick. Yeah. I'm curious. Power BI or Tableau?
You're gonna do that to me.
Power BI. Don't be capping. Go on with it now.
You know they call it
Okay. I'm not gonna be super biased here. Everything has its pros and cons.
Okay.
I prefer Power BI.
Bam! Come on, baby.
Oh my!
Like a Power Ranger. I told you, bro. Power BI is fire. We out.
But Tableau got the power though.
Now that is true, because let me tell you something. Tableau can crunch millions of records in seconds. Power BI, not so much. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing.
You got to call it Power Tableau. Switch it up.
Yeah. Not as much
power. All right. That's what's up. You know, it's cool.
But as far as your work, what is it like in the day in life of a data engineer?
Yeah,
you
got to take us through, like, you know, what time you wake up, what time you get to rent, and just like
what you eat. Do you eat data bites for breakfast?
Yeah, like what is the day in life like? You work from home, like, yeah, just go in, like, let us know.
So I have the luxury, and I don't take this for granted. I work 100% remote.
Okay.
So yeah, so I work for a software company. They specialize in telecommunications. So when I first wake up in the morning, I eat breakfast, do the standard stuff. I work pretty much 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. Our headquarters is pretty much located in Colorado, so it's pretty much Mountain Standard Time. So it's 2 hours back. So I try to work that time so we can have a balance. But when I first get up, since I pretty much just started here, pretty much getting acquainted with the product lifecycle, understanding the product, understanding the data. I feel like that's like step one for me in the morning, since I'm still somewhat new. And then the other things that I do, I look into like the ETL processes, look at the database, just to see if there's any like inconsistency data, because pretty much what I do in Power BI is I model data from SSMS, and that data is actually automated. So when that schedule refreshes, pretty much good and set to go, I look to see if there's like any other metrics that I could like look into, or if my boss, she gives me some requirements that I need to get done. We pretty much assess like different prototypes, what we need to get done. And then I actually work with the data scientist, which I would love for her to actually be on this call.
Oh my God, phone her in.
Come on here.
Call her right now. What's her email? Send her an invite.
I think she's probably still working because it's like 5:20. Like
we'll get her on for another episode if she's open.
Yes. So I work with the senior data engineer. He specializes more on the architecture side of AWS. I'm the middle person that pretty much do the business intelligence, the data modeling, and reporting. That's my baby. And the data scientist, she does more of the mathematical predicting, looking at the algorithms. Like she goes in, like she's super, super smart. I love my team, even though I only been here for like a month and a half. She's pretty awesome. He's pretty awesome. So yeah, so it's just pretty much right now I'm getting myself acquainted with everything. But yeah, that's like a typical day in life with me. It's just reporting, cleansing data, looking at data, and creating beautiful, powerful dashboards.
I definitely want to say congratulations on the new role again. So what were you doing before data engineering again? What was your actual like position before that again?
I was a data analyst, and I was also a marketing database analyst.
2 times for the marketers. So like, what made you want to leave that role and get into data engineering?
I fell in love with like machine learning. I fell in love with the engineering of pretty much fixing things.
Okay.
I like to develop and create. I don't have a problem like creating reports, but I also don't only just want to just create reports. I want to fix things. I want to look at things from a different perspective. So it's just me just being super curious to why I went the engineering route. Engineering would take a little bit more logic standard than being a data analyst. Not saying a data analyst wouldn't really need the logic, but being an engineer, you have to know SQL. Some analyst roles, as long as you know how to do VLOOKUPs and standard Excel functions and all of that, you'll be good to go. But as you get more senior, more professional level, that's when you're going to have to tackle into SQL. So
it's interesting that you say that, because I was telling Quant King J and a few people that when it comes to SQL, as long as you know the basics, you can get a, because a lot of people doubt the Google data analytics course, and I hold that course dear to my heart because that course helped me a lot. I vouch for them so much. Like, so much people have taken that course because I vouch for them. And one thing a lot of the reviews say is they didn't teach enough SQL, which I agree they didn't. But I agree that they didn't, depending on the position that you want. I think they taught just enough for a junior position. I think it's really good for a junior position. And I think some people, I'm glad that you said that, because I think some people fear that they have to know like so much SQL to get a junior role.
When I was a data analyst, I would tell you, when I first worked at my healthcare company back in 2019, I was intermediate. And that was beginner intermediate. I was still learning like the language and how to query correctly and the standards. Like, I was still learning myself back in 2019. And I just invested in Coursera and Lincoln Learning, Udemy, all these platforms. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Don't rush it, because trust me, you will learn it. But once you understand the beginning level, that's all it needs to take. Because once you understand how to write a simple query, the complex queries will come in time. You'll be surprised. A lot of intermediate expert levels still doesn't know how to write advanced SQL. So don't pressure too much about knowing everything. Even I don't know everything. But everything is a learning process. In this industry, you're going to learn new stuff every single day. Things advance every single day. So in this industry, you'll be continually learning. Like me, I'm still learning to this day, and I'm an engineer. So don't stress too much about it. As long as you have those set requirements, you know how to create a standard report in Excel, you know how to create a simple query, like only just like a couple fields. You don't have to worry about inner joins and outer joins and all that other stuff. But as long as you understand just the mechanics of what SQL is about, then everything else will come to a breeze.
And that's so motivating and encouraging to hear. And this is probably going to be the part of the episode that I just like snippet, just like for the promo. I think a lot of aspiring data analysts definitely need to hear that. But I also want to just take a quick break and shout out to Springboard. They do have an awesome data analytics boot camp. If you follow me on social media, you know that we recently signed a marketing partnership with them. And so if you use my code that I will put in the description, you actually get a discount on the data analytics program. It's 6 months and they provide mentorship. So you won't be in it alone. I still recommend Google too. You can never have enough courses. You can never get enough knowledge. So
never.
Yeah. So
knowledge is power.
Exactly. So we hop back.
PowerBI.
Tableau J. You already know what it is. But all right, so I'm gonna hop into this next one for you. It's common to see a lot of data analyst courses, like the one I just mentioned, the few that I just mentioned, even data science. But when it comes to data engineering, Are there any courses or certifications that you would recommend for somebody who's looking to get into that part?
I can definitely recommend a course that I've taken, especially if you want to like go into like being an engineer as a like specializing in AI and machine learning. IBM has an applied professional certificate, which is pretty freaking awesome. I took that course. It taught me so much about machine learning and AI. It teaches you at a beginner to expert levels. There's different branches, as Coursera always has. So that's a great essential certification that I've earned. If you want to go towards that route, if you want to like specialize in DevOps, I believe Coursera also have another amazing certification for that. I don't really tap into DevOps as much, but I think Coursera pretty much has everything. I'm a big voucher for Coursera because I've learned all of my skill set. I'll say at least 95% of my skill set from Coursera and YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
That's shout out to YouTube University.
I'm just so happy that you're here, just telling these people that they do not have to go and get a degree because every single thing is like right there online for them.
Still get the degree.
I'm gonna teach you something about how to bypass that. So listen to PowerBI.
Oh, another snippet.
So I know when you see bachelor's required, this and that, like you get afraid. Do not ever be afraid if it says bachelor's required. If you have 4 years experience, that equates to a 4-year degree. Now, how you can pretty much flip that to make it look like you have IT experience is keywords. You want to make sure that that job description that you're applying for, you have identical keywords that matches the job description. A lot of jobs have these bots. So a lot of times you won't make it to the second round or even get a call back because you don't reach a certain percentage in their application portal. So as long as you have specific keywords and you have certifications, you have a little bit of experience and you can show that you have a project, you have projects that you created and you have a portfolio, you're good to go. That's how I started. Remember, experience is just like having a degree. Employers value experience and skill set more than a degree because you have to always understand everything else can be taught, but skills is valuable and so is experience.
Yeah. Tapping into the portfolio.
We're preaching to them. Go on now.
I want to tap into that portfolio part. What since you were a data analyst and you're now a data engineer, what's coming from both perspectives? What are some things that you would recommend including in your portfolio? This is like the best thing to do is any code that you've written from each database system. Like I have Oracle SQL Developer code, SSMS code, have that in your portfolio. Any reports that was pretty much complex, you use like DAX functions, you created like a power pivot or something like that where you pretty much have to create complex functions and formulas, put it in there to let them know that, yeah, I can handle complex things. Because you just don't want to just specify too much just on the easy things. Because anybody can create an Excel report, but can you create a power pivot? Can you actually create a data model and actually use that same data model that you can utilize in Power BI? That's another great feature about Power BI. That's why I love Power BI. I'm sorry. But
digging it.
So That's just one thing. Like once you show you have reports and you have code and you show that, you know what, let me throw in some projects that I've created, and let me pretty much just throw in anything. Like even you can even pretty much have a video, record a video, show them step by step, you know what you're doing. You can like talk and tell them, you know, I've worked on this, I've done this, and this is what I got, blah, blah, blah. Just like how a typical YouTuber would do it.
Yeah.
Employers, they love that because it's different. Like any single time I have an interview, I always tell them, do you want to see my portfolio? I'd rather you actually visually see that I'm a data storyteller than just me telling you I'm a data storyteller. So
yeah. You actually low-key just answered my next question, because I was going to say, do you bring up your portfolio in the interview? It's like, okay, so with that, do you bring it up in the beginning of the interview, or do you wait till they ask you a couple of questions and then say, oh, do you want to just see my portfolio? Like, what's your...
I want them to hammer me first so I can know where the conversation is shifting. I just want them to like understand me as an individual before I just throw the portfolio on my face. I don't think it's pretty much any times, but I always specify to do it mid-end conversation. Now, if they ask a question, do you have anything to show that you know how to do this and that, then you can bring it up. But usually I always bring it up at the end, or I just attach it to my email if they send me an email.
Okay, that makes sense. So your portfolio, is it like on your own website with your own domain, or is it GitHub? Like,
I have it on GitHub, and I also created like a PDF version for it. So because a lot of companies, their application tracking system and their application portal only accept a certain file size. So I'm like, okay, let me just take this out so you can actually see everything and minimize the size. So I usually send PDFs more than anything.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, cool. Most def. So, innovative knowledge for success. Why did you start such a thing? And tell us more about what it is.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. So at first, I actually was an IT instructor for about 2-3 years. When I was in college, getting my associate's degree, I was helping out college students with computer literacy and any other issues they had knowing about technology. And I was like, you know what, since I'm doing this, why not just like become like a tutor and get my own LLC? So I first initially started being like a tutor trainer for college students, and then I worked myself up to actually also do it for people who work at corporate, because a lot of people didn't understand Excel. So I was like, okay, got this. I could teach them everything on Excel. And then as time progressed, I was like, you know what? That's not enough for me. I wanted to also specify and help college students and high school students learn more about financial literacy. So it's like a multifaceted company. And then I added like about a year ago, that's when I started doing like more data consulting on my side. So I would say I tap into finance, I tap into data and teaching. So I'm all in one.
Okay, I dig that. Shoot, you need to definitely let me know whenever you're doing some finance stuff, because my favorite two things are IT and finance. So like I love trading, I love stocks, investing.
He's a night trader.
People like how to budget, and I'm not a night trader, J-Mar, I'm a day trader.
Well, I'm a night trader.
NFTs, but this is that might be off topic.
Huh?
I'm a night trader, so you know. I
trade
at nighttime.
I'm actually planning on I'm actually currently creating my own NFT collection.
Oh, okay, cool. So definitely keep me in the loop with that. Shoot, that's dope. But anytime you're talking to anybody about finance, definitely let me know. I would love to connect with you on that and speak. I've spoken. Me and J-Mar have spoken to kids before. We went to a couple of schools down here, with the kids
Nice.
about like business and entrepreneurship and stuff. So I definitely love to teach financial literacy, teach them about mutual funds, savings, and different things like that. So that'd be cool.
So I got a question. What you like to do for fun?
Bro, why you gonna ask her that? She gets searched for fun, bro. She just like hola. Shoot.
I'm kind of crazy. Like what I do for fun, I am very, very adventurous. Like I jumped out of a plane.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, me too. My good friend. Let's go. We jumping out of planes together.
Yeah, I like doing adventurous stuff. I love to travel. I love seeing the world. Before the pandemic happened, I went there. Went to Venice. Yeah, just like no.
That's what's up. What are some places that you enjoyed when you were traveling?
My top destination is definitely Venice.
I haven't been yet. I love the pictures though.
Definitely beautiful. It's definitely beautiful.
That's what's up. So like working remotely, I know you said you work from 9 to 6. So now are you working from that whole 9 to 6 or is there like some downtime?
What I love about CSG, now I'm going to be promoting my company where I work at. What I love about them is they pretty much specify work-life balance. So they tell us, block out this time to just eat, to walk, to exercise, do something, like have a work-life balance. As long as you do what you need to do and you meet the deadlines, they're good.
See, turn up. That's the type of companies I love. Don't bother me. I'm gonna turn your work in. Just leave me alone. Let me do me. Let me chill on my couch.
Give me the deadline.
Watch my YouTube. Just give me the deadline. It'll be done by then.
Got you. Good. That's what's up.
I love it. That's cool. So we got a little bit of time. I need to throw this in there since we was talking about Power BI earlier. Back to Power BI. What are you studying right now? What course are you on right now? Or what course did you use to study Power BI? Because right now I'm currently on a YouTube course, like a quick rundown one. And then I'm on I do have data camps one as well, but I'm like doing YouTube one for the sake of speed. So which one do you recommend right now?
Me learning Power BI, I pretty much utilize YouTube. I'm not gonna even lie. I definitely utilize YouTube. But I also pretty much got like sample databases that I did import, and I just played around with Power BI as well. So as long as you have like those sample data sources that you can import and utilize, then I feel like you will be good to go. As long as you like pretty much understand the data modeling, how to transform data, how to pretty much connect those relationships so it won't be all kind of whack. Because when it comes to Power BI, there's no such thing as many-to-many relationships. Even in any database administration, we despise many-to-many relationships. It's only one-to-one and one-to-many. I strive for one-to-many and one-to-one because it's cleaner. But one-to-many is always pretty much the go-to. Many-to-many is just all over the place, and there's no insightful data you can get from a many-to-many relationship. So understanding like the transform tab, understanding the calculations, DAX functions are the key. Pretty much if you know how to write functions in Excel, that's going to pretty much prep you for DAX, but DAX language is a little bit different. So that's just going to be the adjustments. So when you actually utilizing Power Pivot, see if you can actually create a calculated measure, because that's the same type of that function that will be utilized in Power BI. Just a note.
Okay.
That makes sense. I ain't tapping the Power BI yet, but I'm gonna add it into my toolkit. Right now I'm just still trying to master Tableau.
Tableau is a great BI tool. That was the first tool I actually utilized, and I love Tableau. But like I said, everything has its pros and cons. When it comes to scheduling, Tableau's a little when it comes to scheduling, but Power BI is better at that. When it comes to drill downs, I would say Tableau could be probably a little bit cleaner and they're faster than Power BI when it comes to that. So it's a lot of great things you can do in Tableau and Power BI. So whatever you want to learn, don't let me be biased because I love Power BI. But
I want to learn whatever the market want me to learn at the end of the day, because it's all it's all fun to me regardless. So
exactly, and that's the key right there. Listen, you see how energetic I am? I'm like this all day when I talk to my boss.
Man,
I'm on drugs.
Like what keep you energetic? What's in your playlist? What's in your music playlist? Like what make you just dad up?
What getting crunk with the thumbs up?
Dad up.
Going on.
To everything, but I love R&B, I love rap, so it doesn't really matter. Trap music, it definitely gets you a little riled up, but even without me listening to music, I can pretty much just say I'm always like this the first time. Like when I get up in the morning, I'm like, all right, time to crush it. It's like when you really love what you do, everything is, your whole life is great. So
that's why I definitely love transferring to data, because like ever since J Martin brought me on this journey, it's been like, dang, like I actually want to sit down and study and like do this all day. Like right now, you just hyped me up to get off the phone. I was like, I was gonna watch a movie, but I do want to finish and learn how to complete Power BI in full effectiveness. So I'm like, I think that's gonna be just as fun.
I'm still ending my night with Netflix, so you guys can have fun with that.
No error.
I'm actually watching a pretty good episode on Netflix, but we gonna get into our Tech Titan part of the show real quick, where we just highlight a tech influencer doing their thing for the community. We normally have our host Shanice do this, but she's out for the day, so we're gonna pass it over to Mr. J.
But this guy here, what the heck?
Gonna have you do the Tech Titan for the day,
for
and then we gonna have special guest.
Oh, that's why. Our Tech Titan for the day, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Mr. Jamar Gale himself, the creator of the All About the Data community, which now has over 5,000 members, spanning across the All About the Data Discord, All About the Data Twitter, and the YouTube podcast and LinkedIn. He just recently hit over 11,000 followers on his personal Twitter account. And once I say that was in 3 months or so. So we definitely rate that, sir. Highlight his authentic and consistent contribution to the data community. Well, wait, see, we got to type on. We got to type on the notes. I will highlight his authentic and consistent contribution to the data community, always posting great stuff for everybody to learn and know and educate them. And he is responsible for also bringing us all together through Twitter and through Discord, where he's built a pretty tight-knit group of folks who are new to data and those who are well into their data career. And last but not least, he also has 16 years of marketing experience, which has played a major role in building his data career. Well, Mr. Jamar Gale,
I appreciate y'all all about the data community, man. It's the community. Like I said, I always say it. I never expected it to become what it did. I just kind of started it for fun. And now I get invited to speaking engagements, all type of stuff. I was just trying to get a data role, We
still didn't get a data job yet, but everybody loves it.
I just landed an internship, but I'm gonna keep it on the low till I finalize everything.
Well, my boss, she follows you. So if you see any positions that you're like, yeah, I want to try this out, let me know and I'll send a referral.
Oh, she follows
Sequoia. Can you do that for me too?
That's news to me. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Look here.
I'm gonna have to talk to you about that off the camera.
And she loves
I'm
your
about to talk to
content.
a bitch on the camera.
Wow. Dang. I gotta join
That's
the
what's
team.
up. I wanted to ask you about that as well, if you guys did have any positions, because right now I am doing like revenue cycle analyst, but
yeah,
they plan on changing
the camera though. We got X off the camera. We got
X off the camera.
Yeah, we gonna wrap the podcast up.
Too explicit.
So we appreciate Sequoia for coming on with us today. You already know all about the data, baby. What's next for you, Sequoia, and what advice you got for newcomers as we wrap this up?
All right. So I pretty much, like I stated earlier, I'm actually planning on doing my NFT collection, having that done by March. I'm also planning on becoming more essential and better in data science, because I do want to help out my community, you know, and hire like more Black engineers and get them more acquainted with actually each data role, like data analyst, data scientist, and data engineer. So I would love to be more impactful and help you guys out. So you might just catch me on Discord. Yeah.
Okay, we need you.
Okay.
We need you, but that's what's up. Shout out to the NFT world. Once again, shout out to the All About the Data community. Discord is now at over 3,000 members, and we going worldwide with it. So we appreciate you all coming in. Also, thank y'all for subscribing to the YouTube. The YouTube is going crazy right now. We almost at 600 subscribers. Make sure you check us out on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We are everywhere, you know, whichever platform you choose to listen. It's solely up to you. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well to stay updated with everything that we going as we continue to bring on special guests in data and special guests in tech overall. I'm so glad we was able to have a data engineer on so y'all can hear this side of the podcast, hear this side of the career journey. And we hope that this podcast is helping you out. So thank you for tuning in. All About the Data, baby. Peace.